Here's what you get with this episode of The Nice Guys on Business.
Today, I work with 500,000 people around the world by way of their photograph. Keep in mind, my instrument acts like a satellite, so you don't have to travel to my laboratory. And everything I do is non-physical. This is not chemical. I am addressing your aura or your spirit body or your chi. This is not a biological process. It's an informational process.
Get it straight, Buster. I'm not here to say please. I'm here to tell you what to do. And if self-preservation is an instinct you possess, you better do it and do it quick. I'm here to help. If my help's not appreciated, then lots of luck, gentlemen. If I'm curt with you, it's because time is a factor. I think fast, I talk fast. I need you guys to act fast if you want to get out of this. So, pretty please, with sugar on top. Listen to the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by TurnKey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
Nice Guy community, today we are in for an excellent treat, a little bit different than the normal business advice. Today we're going to be talking to Tom Paladino. Now, Tom works with this thing called Scalar Energy. He's been doing scalar energy research for the last 25 years officially, but he's got a little secret that will tell you why 50 years, even though his 63-year-old frame would not lend me to believe that 50 years of this, but it's interesting the angle that he's going to hit. Let's find out all about what Scalar Energy is and talk about his company and the products and services that he provides to his community member. He's got a huge community on Facebook, LinkedIn. He's all over social media, and you'll enjoy this conversation. Tom, welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Hey, happy to have you here, man. And tell me, because I don't even know, I'd never heard of, before I started doing some research on you, I'd never heard of Scalar Energy. So can you give me just the 35,000 foot approach to what Scalar Energy is?
It's very simple. It's the sunlight or starlight. It's the natural energy of the universe. It's life force energy. It's not electricity. So when I say scalar energy, it's the cosmic energy that drives the universe. It's that simple.
Okay, so and how? Tell me, what are the health benefits? Of course, we all know the health benefits of sun exposure, or within moderation, of course. But we also know the dangers of getting too close to the sun, whether figuratively or literally too close to the sun. So maybe you can just share, what are some of the benefits of this scalar energy?
I've developed instruments that control this energy. So if you can harness this energy, then you can direct it. And some of the benefits that I've seen, scalar energy is responsible for our brain waves or our chakras. So when I'm working with an instrument, I can enhance brain waves, or I can enhance the 7 chakras. Now, what does that mean? In a nutshell, that means this will someday be considered the pathway to psychological health, to mental health. Through energy, not a chemical, it's non-physical. Scalar energy will be the pathway to mental health.
This is a really cool and fascinating subject, one that I really don't know a lot about, but I really want to take a dive into the pool, as long as the pool has been, of course, heated by the sun. So tell me some of the health benefits to scalar energy. Work through, like, how does somebody, you've harnessed the power of this, and I'm curious, how do you harness it, and then how do you use it for the good of mankind?
Well, the instruments are rather sophisticated. So I'm not working with electricity. I'm working with scalar energy instruments that control scalar energy. And then in operation, what do we do? Well, it's quite fascinating. I work with people around the world by way of their photograph. So this instrument works remotely with a person's force field or their photographic signature. So I'm working with people on all 5 continents, simply by virtue of the fact that people will email me a photograph, and I can balance their chakras, I can balance their brain waves through the dimension of scalar energy via the interface of their photograph.
Incredible. All right, so let's talk about it a little bit, because I'm going to know enough to be dangerous here. So I need you to kind of get me down the right path. And those in our community, I'm going to ask it from a position of curiosity, like I really know the answers anyway. I have no clue what the answers are, but I'm really curious what they are. I'll go to my acupuncturist, and he'll start working on my chi, my energy, and he'll work within the chakras. Now, I was a Western guy forever until I started doing things like going to a chiropractor, going to an acupuncturist, going to some alternative medicine, some naturopaths or functional medicine physicians. And I really didn't understand the importance or the relevance of this chi, this energy, or my chakras at all before seeing them. Connect these to real life, so this is ancient medicine that has been generations and decades and thousands of years. Western medicine is actually the newbie on the field. So maybe can you share a little bit about the philosophy and how it actually works?
Yeah, well, you hit the nail on the head. Scalar energy is chi. It is prana. So if you're experiencing those benefits from acupuncture, acupressure, I have an instrument that controls chi or prana. And indeed, this is a fundamental energy. We're working with the primal force of the universe, and you can accomplish incredible things when you're working with fundamental to people in Western society. But let's face it, some cultures have been embracing this concept for millennia.
Okay, so let's talk about the practical application of this. Sunlight, or the energy that's in the world, is being harnessed by this machine that you have created. Someone is sending you a picture. You're able to do an analysis and to determine where the energy has to go, and then you're able to adjust that energy. And how do you send it back to them?
That's correct. So, if you will, a photograph of a person represents, if you will, like a cell phone that can connect with people around the world, or a satellite. So my instrument, let's say, works like a universal satellite. And then when I do look at a photograph through this instrument, the instrument can, for instance, can pick out a microbe, a bacterium, or a virus that's found on the photographic force field. So let's say somebody has Mycobacterium tuberculosis that causes TB. The instrument will pick out that bacterium and then send the necessary information to transmute to break down that bacterium, working through this information field. So this is quite revelatory. I believe this instrument can can identify a microbe and transmute it, break it down.
Okay. And again, I don't want to be the contrarian, but somebody might be listening to this in the traditional medicine sense and say, this guy is nuts. I don't understand how this kind of thing actually even works. So can you maybe, I know that you've invented these pieces of equipment. Can you maybe share how this piece of equipment or these pieces of equipment actually work?
Correct. Okay, so let's just say that this is non-physical. If people are akin to the electromagnetic spectrum, sure, that has physical consequences. With scalar energy, everything is information. It's non-physical. And we are working then with a different paradigm. We're able to work with the information, let's say, that holds together a microbe, a germ. And if you can disrupt the information that holds together a germ, a microbe, the microbe is reduced to chaos. So organization will hold together the microbe. Disorganization will fragment the microbe, all by way of energy, all by way of instructions. This is the new science that's non-physical that allows us to reach into the atomic and molecular structure.
So remember, Nice Guy community, as you're listening to this and are thinking, potentially, I don't understand a thing that Tom is saying. Remember that no one understood what Nikola Tesla was talking about before he did his thing. Nobody understood about, germ science before germs were actually discovered. Nobody was understanding the benefits of penicillin until bread mold. How does bread mold make something that would be healthy? All of these things, yes, they were alternatives in their day, and they're now mainstream things that are actually working and healing and helping mankind today. So, Tom, you're a little ahead of the curve when it comes to, helping people to understand and put this together. And some people might think you're kind of out there, but it sounds really interesting. When did you know to fight the impulse of everything else that's been incoming to you, saying this is not real science, this is not real science?
Well, if I modeled my career in many ways after Nikola Tesla, and if you look at Tesla's career carefully, later in his life, he was working with scalar energy, and all of his instruments were incredible. They really were a wonderment of science. But you'll pay particular attention to the fact that later in his life, there was no moving parts with his instruments. His instruments were able to work without any armature or any type of turbine. So he was harnessing sunlight or starlight with those instruments.
Incredible. Again, for those of you that are listening that may not understand a word that Tom is saying, just look at the end result. The end result is he has gotten results for his clients. And maybe can you share a little bit of some of your success stories, Tom?
In a practical sense, many people approach us and they'll say, Tom, I'm suffering from the herpes virus. Well, we work with them by way of the photograph. We're able to pick out the resonance or the signature of the herpes virus. Now, after we work with people tell us, it's not my words, that they no longer have any symptoms of herpes. And many people have gone on to have, a PCR test, a follow-up polymerase chain reaction test, and those test results are negative, no viral load. So according to the people, the testimonies of this is a new science, the people are saying that scalar energy has done something that they no longer have any viral load for a virus, such as herpes.
So with scalar energy, is this something that's always done remotely, or is there something that's done if you're face-to-face with someone that would be slightly different than the remote?
No, it's always remote. Why? Because scalar energy transcends time and space. It doesn't matter if you're in the laboratory or your photograph. Your photograph is your substitution. You can bilocate by way of your photograph.
Again, fascinating science, fascinating. Where did you discover, or how did you determine? I know you've somehow modeled yourself through Tesla's image, but at the same time, what compelled you to want to do this as your calling?
I see the benefits. I see that this energy, which is free energy from the sun and the stars, once we can tap into this, we'll be able to accomplish so many things with this new paradigm, so to speak, with this new way of energy generation. The free energy of the stars. Think about that.
I love, very, very similar to at my house. No matter when during the day that you decide you're going to do your interviews, the lawn care people always will come by, won't they? It's incredible. I'm looking, for Nice Guy Community, for those that can't see, because you're not looking at the video of this, because I'm only broadcasting the audio. He's got a little lawn care team that's out in his side yard doing the work. And I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting here. As a matter of fact, Tuesday, which is the day we're recording this, is lawn care day. I should not even be doing this in my neighborhood, because this is when they come through and cut all of the grass. So thank you. Could you get some of your equipment to work on them to maybe quiet the equipment down a little bit?
That's like perfect timing, as they say, huh?
So tell me a little bit more about things that you have been doing with your clients. Have you worked with many clients? Is this a new practice for you? Tell me a little bit about that.
I've been at this now in practice for a good 30, 35 years. Today in my laboratory, I worked with 500,000 photographs.
Wow.
I'm working with people around the world. Now, many people can send me collages or group photographs. Sometimes I receive a collage of 500, 600 people per collage. So mark my word, today I work with 500,000 people around the world by way of their photograph. Keep in mind, my instrument acts like a satellite, so you don't have to travel to my laboratory. And everything I do is non-physical. This is not chemical. I am addressing your aura or your spirit body or your chi. This is not a biological process. It's an informational process.
This is incredible to me to hear, what people do for a living and how they actually are able to make a dent and impact on the world and to create an environment that is healthy and well for all. If someone in our audience was interested in taking advantage of what you are sharing and talking to you, do they talk to you? Tell me what's the best way for someone to engage what you do.
To engage with us, I think the best way is with a free trial. We offer everybody in the world 15 days of free session on our website, which is scalarlight.com. You'll simply email us your photograph. I want you to experience this because it's unique. I don't think this has ever been accomplished by anybody else. So my work needs to get out there through this 15-day free session.
Nice. Okay, so for those of you in our community, we're going to put a link in the show notes, but there is a 15-day free trial. It's at scalarlight.com. That's SCALAR light, LIGHT.com. We'll put a link in the show notes. For those that, okay, I'm going to say this without any disrespect at all, but with an understanding. I want to create some reality here. If somebody in our audience wants to do this with you, but they are not a believer in what you do, but you're offering a 15-day free trial, will it still work for them if they are not a believer?
To answer your question, yes, because the energy is fundamental. Now, keep in mind, whether you believe the sun or the stars exist, it doesn't matter. You're still going to experience sunlight and starlight. I am not, I'm working with the primary force of the universe, sunlight and starlight. Yes, it will work.
Absolutely. And I love it. And I ask that question completely not out of any disrespect, but out of respect for what you do, because I think that if there is a non-believer that's out there and you go to scalarlight.com and check out this 15-day free trial, the proof is in the pudding. Hey, look, if you do it and it doesn't work for you, nothing ventured, nothing gained. It didn't cost you any money. So at the same time, okay, if you don't believe and he's able to actually reverse something or heal something or help you, even better. You don't have to be a believer. Just take advantage of the opportunity.
Thank you. I'm all about proving myself. That's why we have the 15-day free trial.
Absolutely. Tom, I so appreciate you being here on The Nice Guys today. Thank you for sharing your message and your inspiration. And, for those of you that are in our community, and I know you haven't met Tom personally, I've had a chance to at least get to meet him through video. He's a genuine guy. He wants to help. It's obvious that he is doing this not only in his desire to help mankind, but because he really does feel like this will make a difference in your life. And if that's the case, take an opportunity to check out the 15-day free trial at scalarlight.com. Tom, thanks for being here on the show today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Tom Paladino. All of his information, including access to the 15-day free use of the Scalar Light sessions right there on scalarlight.com. Check the show notes for more information. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.